Actually, Taiwan and Palau have been good friends for 26 years, and during your recent visit to Australia, you again spoke about your strong support for the friendship between Palau and Taiwan. How do you characterize the long-standing relationship between our two countries?
Well, you know, when I was speaking in Australia, I used the example of marriage because just so happens that I got married in 1999 to my wife. And part of your commitment when you get married is it's until death do you part. But a marriage is made up of shared values, shared interest, and really a true partnership about caring for each other, about being there at the most difficult times, and about growing together. And I think that's what characterizes our relationship with Taiwan over the last 20 years, and it continues to grow. So like in a marriage, we've completed our civil anniversary, gone on to our golden, but you know, Palau is, and the Taiwanese people connection doesn't just begin 26 years ago. It begins thousands of years ago through the Austronesians, when we first sailed to all the islands. So we are connected. And then, of course, even before that, before official diplomatic relations, the Taiwanese Agricultural Mission was already operating in Palau in the late 80s. So our relationship goes back, I say, many, many years.
Last year, our president Lai Ching-te chose Palau for his first overseas visit. Then earlier this year, our minister Lin Jialong came to your inauguration as Taiwan's special envoy. And now you're here. So this high-level exchange between our two countries are clear continuing. So our Minister Lin, since he taken office, has been promoting the Prosperity Project as part of Taiwan's integrated diplomacy. It focuses on sustainable tourism, e-health, the blue economy, and green transformation, all aiming to help Palau become a smart, sustainable island. So in your view, which of this project is the most important for Palau, and how do you think they have benefit to your country so far?
So I think one of the highlights of our developing relationship with President Lai and Minister Lin has been the emphasis on economic development, on broadening our relationship. Taiwan has been an important partner in helping us with agriculture, with helping us with healthcare, with helping us with education, infrastructure, but now also involving the private sector. I think that's an important component in developing Palau, but also developing our relationship. Because one of the things that I've emphasized with President Lai is that we must grow together. Prosperity has to be a win-win for both sides. So it's important to bring Taiwanese investors, entrepreneurs to Palau to explore and see what we can jointly do together. So some of the projects that we're working on are renewable energy transportation systems, looking at renewable energy systems, developing tourism that is tourism with a purpose. So when you come, you not only enjoy, but you do something that's sustainable and that helps the economy, but also protects the environment. So these are, I think, projects that this next week while we're here, we're going to be able to go visit an eco-friendly golf course, because if we're going to have tourism and people want to golf, let's do it the right way that doesn't destroy the environment. So these are ideas and possible potential partnerships that we can work together to ensure sustainability, but yet help grow our economies and provide for a prosperous future for our people.
So we're just talking about some idea or some project between Taiwan and Palau. So how do you see this partnership evolving in the future?
Well, we're hoping that we'll start breaking ground and start doing these projects soon. One of the things that we're going to visit is a boat called the Porima, which has gone around the world twice with our special advisor, Stan Shi. And this boat uses no diesel. It's all built on renewable energy. So the concept is, how can we bring that type of transportation systems to Palau, incorporate it in tourism, and transportation between the islands. So something unique, something that's good for the environment, but hopefully something that's also profitable for both sides.
Yeah, I'd just say that Taiwan and Palau have been friends for 26 years, and you have been consistent supporter of Taiwan's participation in international affairs. And at the same time, China continued to pressure Taiwan diplomatically and expand its presence in the Pacific, including the recent military exercise that the missiles were launched over Palau's airspace. So how do you think democratic nation can come together to push back against such actions?
Yeah, so I'm a believer, just like what President Reagan said. If you want peace, you have to show strength. And it's so important that democratic nations, nations that share the same values and freedom, democracy, rule of law, come together to ensure that we protect those freedoms. We want to ensure that we have a free and open Indo-Pacific. Palau, under its compact with the United States, allows the United States security access and control of our security, including right now they're building over the horizon radar systems. Now, some may say that that is bringing threats to Palau. But the other way of looking at it is that if we're not prepared to defend, we're vulnerable. So it's so important that we have strength. We are prepared to deter. So your question about missiles crossing our airspace without our permission was a shock, I think, to not only Palau but to the rest of the Pacific, that China would do something like that without letting us know. And that is a threat to our security. A few years ago, the U.S. came to Palau and tested Patriot missiles. That means they bring them to Palau, they launch them in a certain amount of time. At that time, some of our leaders asked, well, that takes too long, because by the time you come and set them up, maybe the missile already arrived from North Korea or China, just hypothetically. And so maybe we need to have them in Palau. So at that time, I did ask the United States, I said, if the threat is there, we would like to see Patriot missiles in Palau prepared to defend us. Because as you know, Palau's location in the Western Pacific is an important strategic point when it comes to the military. We know during World War II, it was the South Seas headquarters for the Japanese. So just because of the location, we're always going to be a target. So I think it's important that our partners ensure our security. And that's why the idea of the Patriot missiles being stationed in Palau would be helpful in ensuring that security. The United States have also told us that if the threat level is there, be assured that we will defend you. Now, there are people in our Congress that have said no. And of course, there's also people in Palau that say all this militarization brings threats. But we also know that that's the same rhetoric that the Chinese have used in the Pacific, the rest of the Pacific, to scare people into thinking that being prepared, being resilient, being able to defend yourself is a bad thing. You know, I think we all know that the best insurance for peace is to be prepared to deter.
Not only the military, but also you have said before that China used tourism as a tool to pressure Palau into changing its diplomacy position. And according to the U.S. think tank Pacific Economic, the Chinese Prince Group, that just tied to FRAP network and has been investing in key infrastructure in Palau, including a port and airport in Kororo. So we have also heard that pro-China group like Zhigong Party have tried to lobby Palauian politicians to shift their stance. So how do you think Palau can stand up to this kind of economic and political pressure?
Well, as I've said many times, the pressure is constant, whether it's involving politicians, it's involving investment, it's involving tourism that comes into Palau. So I'll just give you an idea. Back in 2016, there was almost 100,000 visitors from China to Palau. We saw a growth in our GDP of almost 30% because they went from zero in a matter of 2 years to over almost 100,000. So you can see the impact that that brings to our economy, the impact that brings to business people, to individuals. They see that. And then what happened? After 2016, 2017, Palau did not switch. So the tourism started going down.
So do you have any plan to?
So one of the things that I have been working on since I've been president, and one of the things that when I came to Taiwan, and we're very fortunate that President Lai, after COVID, President Lai came to Palau to launch the first 2 regular services. We must diversify our tourism. We cannot be so dependent on one market. It's important that we bring back the Taiwanese tourists. It's important that we bring back the Japanese tourists. It's important that we bring back the Koreans. And now I've started up the Australians. We're bringing back the US and Europe. So we have a diversified base so we're not dependent on one market, because we don't want to be in the situation where tourism can be weaponized. The other thing is, as you know, at the end of the day, if hotel rooms are empty, people are out of work, and their businesses are not operating well, they sometimes get swayed. So that's why it's so important to bring in the right kind of investment. So these people, the Palauans see that there's opportunity, and these groups that you mentioned come in and say, oh yes, we'll lease your land, we'll do something. But what we do see is this. They have leased land. Many of them have done nothing with the land. And in some cases, we begin to see that maybe they're just holding on to the land so that we can actually stifle development and keep Palau from developing. So that's why it's so important to get the right partners. Because when I first became president, the ambassador from China in Pohnpei called me up and said, President, you're a businessman. There's 1.5 billion people in China and 26 million people in Taiwan. What's the bigger market? You want more hotels? I can do it. You want 1 million tourists? I can do it. I'll build all the hotels you want and I'll give you 1 million tourists and you'll be doing great. That's the lure that they try to give to many of our politicians. Because of course everybody wants prosperity, they want good for their people. But I always also believe that there needs to be a balance. And we need to be partners with people that we share the same values. So yes, we may be lured by all these grand schemes, but I think it comes down to what the people of Palau have seen over the past 26 years or 30 years of our independence. And that's, you know, a partnership that's really based on trust, a partnership that's about growing together, about building prosperity for all, and not just coming in for short-term gains, and then also partnering with people that we share the same values. So that's what the relationship between Palau and Taiwan has been, and I think we're on the path to an even greater opportunity where hopefully this week and the weeks to come, we will get more Taiwanese investment into Palau to help develop tourism, maybe the financial sector, or any other industry that is out there. It could be looking at a spaceport, or we have to think big. It could be building a fab in Palau. I don't know. Anyway, Palau has 0 tariffs with the United States, so this is something that. So we have opportunities in all sectors, and really what we want to do is, with our closest partners, let's see how we can work together to further expand that.
We're talking about the tourism and talk about the industry, and I want to ask, because Palau is often called the aquarium of God, but Taiwan also have Green Island and Orchid Island. and they're also known for their rich marine tourism. So when it comes to tourism cooperation, what more can Palau and Taiwan do together to grow the industry on both sides?
Yeah, so one of, I think, our favorite things that we started between Palau and Taiwan was the beginning of a marathon. So now every year we have a marathon that we host in Palau, and many Taiwanese come and they run in the marathon. But it's looking at those types of opportunities to diversify our tourism. And you're absolutely right. You have Orchid Island, Green Island. We have, we say, the God's Aquarium. These are natural, I think, pristine environments that we have been gifted with. And it's our duty to keep them vibrant and to use them sustainably so that our children can continue to enjoy them. So we can learn from each other on how we protect those resources. Palau is a leader when it comes to ocean protection policies. Not only have we preserved 30% of our EEZ, we've expanded, our nearshore areas, we've expanded to our EEZ and created the largest marine sanctuary, which is now expanded to the entire Pacific, where we've asked all the Pacific countries to come together to commit to 100% managed oceans. We continue to stand up against deep sea mining without a proper assessments. We're of course on the forefront of plastic pollution and protecting our oceans. So these are things that we can work together with. And I wish I'd worn my shirt today, which was made out of recycled plastic bottles that came from Palau to Taiwan. But also a demonstration of how we can take something that's bad and turn it into something that's good. And that's what we need. We need to transform. We need ideas. And that's what partnership is all about, is bringing people with the skills, the knowledge, the technology together to solve the challenges that we have. But most importantly, to ensure that we have, that we protect the pristine environments that we have. So it should be about sustainable development, right?